What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Brave and Faithful podcast. I'm your host, Raiden Dionisio. Today, I got a very special guest with you guys, someone that I've followed for a while on social media, very inspirational, talks a lot about growth mindset and things like that. So, very excited for him to be here and share his knowledge and his wisdom. He's an active duty Navy chief still currently. He's also one of the co-owners of ADPI, which is active duty passive income. He's the VP of education of ADPI. I have none other than Tim Kelly. Tim, what's going on, brother?
What's up, man? Stoked to be here. It's an honor and a privilege to chat with you and just have a fun conversation, man. And even if we inspire one person, man, it's a success. So let's just dive in, man. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, before we get started into where you're at right now, just can you tell us a little bit about your service and how long you've been serving?
Yeah, man. Like you said, currently active duty Navy chief in Pensacola, Florida. Just hit 15 years, and I'm actually in the process of separating. On the 9th of November, I'll officially be a civilian and a veteran. And thanks to real estate investing and the decisions I've made, the people I've surrounded myself with, and obviously the Navy and the military, just embedded in my DNA. I'm able to just walk right out of the Navy at 15 years as a senior enlisted leader, and enjoy financial freedom. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people think it's unattainable, but I'll tell you right now, if I could do it, man, anybody can. It's not complicated. It's easy concepts, but it's not easy to implement because of all the distractions and all the negativity and how we're essentially raised in our society.
Right.
Very limiting. So, yeah, man, excited to be here, dude. And let's dive in, bro.
Yeah. So, you kind of mentioned uh, in your intro there, 15 years. Um, a lot of people might be listening to this, man. He's got 15 years. He's not going to finish out. Like, what made you decide to, and what gave you that, I guess, that confidence to just, hey, I'm done.
Yeah, honestly, that's a great question, and the confidence came from over the last about 4 or 5 years, just building businesses and driving through the struggles and figuring things out and just pouring a lot of intent and effort into my education, investing in myself, investing in my education, and relentlessly pursuing financial freedom. And if I didn't do that, it would be stupid if I just left
Right.
the Navy at 15 years when I could just roll through the next five and have a pension for life and stuff like that, and try care for life, health benefits. But at the same time, I don't 100% enjoy and am passionate about what I do in the Navy, but what I do outside of the Navy, I am. And it really just doesn't make sense for me to stay in, right? Because I would have to deploy once, if not another, twice, another two times. I would probably be floating on a ship somewhere right now if I ended up re-enlisting.
What was your
Earlier
rate
this
in
year.
there?
AD is my
Okay.
actual rate, but here I came here as a water survival instructor. I'm also a rescue swimmer, and then I ended up teaching the pilot students. I was a pilot instructor for the last 3 years.
Okay.
So I was teaching them about engine systems and ethics and professional development and leadership and mindset. So it just didn't make sense for me to stay in, and kind of what I would have to sacrifice for the next 5 years wasn't worth what I'm basically making on one fourplex every single month, and that
Right.
fourplex is paying me just as much as I would be making on that pension. Plus it's appreciating in value. Plus I'm using other people's money to leverage it. And there's so many benefits of buy and hold real estate and multifamily and as many doors as you can under one roof. So, I mean, the confidence came from my putting in the education and my knowledge and my experience and all the people that I've surrounded myself with and all the inspiration and people kind of who went before me and kind of paved the way, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
kind of just took advantage of it and relentlessly pursued it. So,
Yeah, I think that's the key thing is time is something that we'll never get back. It's the most valuable gift that we can give anybody. And as long as you have a passion and pursuing what you want to attain in life, why not go for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, 100%, dude. Like the biggest thing too, I didn't even mention is my wife and I. We don't have any kids right now, and we've
Mm,
wanted to start having kids, and I've been hesitant because I've been in, and because I don't want to go on a deployment, and then boom, my wife is pregnant, and now, you know, I'm gone for her pregnancy. I'm gone for my kid's birth, and I want to be there for every second of all of that. You know, I want to be there, and I know you. I'm sure you could testify to. We've seen too many
yeah.
families be ripped apart due to relationships, and too many of our friends and brothers and sisters in arms are missing some critical times and critical events in their family's life because they're gone. And
Mm,
as much as I enjoyed serving and stuff like that, it's just didn't make sense for me, man. Like you said, time is way too valuable, and that's one thing that I learned is how to manage time while being active duty and running multiple businesses and stuff like that, and being highly productive. So
all right. So, well, shout out to the military spouses out there.
yeah, seriously.
So 15 years, what would you say was your biggest takeaway? I know there's a lot, but what's one thing you would say was your biggest takeaway from the military?
Oh man, dude, there, like you said, there's so much, and I actually was just reflecting on it, and just the fact that being in the military, you're surrounded by other people, and you're forced to improve on and learn what real hard work is. What your work ethic improves, your character improves, humility, right? Your
Mm,
grit, resilience, leadership, teamwork, all these things that the military teaches you. If you understand that and harness that, they transition very well in business and especially in real estate investing. But a lot of times the military will make you or break you, right?
hmm.
So a lot of times if you kind of go through the ranks, obviously you being a senior enlisted leader, the military, you've probably taken a lot away from the military. We've all grown in the military due to all these things. But I wish I could say like there's one thing, dude, but there's so many things and I can't thank all the people enough who've gone before me, and all my brothers and sisters in the Chiefs mess, and all my prior supervisors and leaders and all that. They have taught me what I know today, and what I took from that and I applied right in business and in investing. So probably just all the characteristics and what's embedded into our DNA, being in the military, man, and going on deployments and being having to adapt and to every situation, because how you change is how you succeed.
Right. And then you kind of alluded to it earlier. So, how has how's 15 years in Navy helped you with your second service and what you're doing now?
Yeah, man. Like I said, it's just all the character traits and all the different things that I learned, and how to become a leader through struggle, through learning from failure and learning from other people's failure. And um, you know, most people are afraid to lead, and most people aren't born leaders, right? We have to become leaders eventually and learn how to lead and go out there and take bets on yourself and lead. So I would say leadership and working with the team and humility, all these things that I mentioned before. It's just it gives us a huge advantage in business. So especially because we're growing this massive community, and now we have like 20, I think like 25, 26 people on our team that are all helping ADPI grow, and we're all working together as one cohesive unit. And so there's so many things that I've taken away from the
Right.
military, man, that have helped me become who I am today. And I'm so there's so much gratitude for that.
Before we get into ADPI and how that all started, I want to talk about how you got started in real estate. How did this all come about, and how did the growth mindset that you always talk about, where did that all start?
Yeah, man. So I think it just started from my interest and stuff in just personal finance and
Hmm.
financial management and just money management, and I was never comfortable with just handing my money over to a financial advisor or a financial planner and literally hand my financial legacy over to somebody else. It didn't sit well with me. So I just wanted to learn more about it because I wanted to do more myself. I wanted to direct my own investments. And so on that, one of my last deployments in 2014, floating on a ship in the middle of the Persian Gulf, I had a bunch of books that I was just reading, just about personal finance and building wealth. And there was just a pattern of this real estate investing concept that, I knew nothing about. And I already owned a primary residence, and I was actually house hacking it, before I even knew what house hacking was or knew what real estate investing was. I like live and flipped it, and then I house hacked it, and then we ended up selling that. But so I kind of enjoyed the art of the deal, of just making that deal, shopping for homes, looking at properties, and then harnessing that, being able to leverage a 0% down loan, the VA loan, to get into this property that's now, totally an asset because I was house hacking. And so then I just had all this interest. And the minute I got off that deployment, I just dove into real estate investing. And, I just read every book about it. I listened to every podcast. I discovered the world of podcasts back in 2014. That's when I kind of first got into Bigger Pockets and Grant Cardone and all these cool platforms. And then I just honed my focus, and I invested a lot of time and actually money into my real estate education and mentorship and coaching. And then I started being able to focus on a specific asset class, and that was, large multifamily. Then I went straight for the apartment complexes and that back in like 2016. And that's what I stuck with. And so it kind of started from just a curiosity, reading books on a deployment, and then just after that, implementing what I learned and just taking action and going after it, at the end of 2014. And that's kind of where my journey started, man. And I just kept going. And for a while, I wasn't getting a whole lot of traction because I was trying to learn every aspect of real estate. I went horizontal across all the different ways you could kind of generate income and build wealth, and all the different strategies, right? And asset classes like wholesaling, single family, flipping single family, maybe some creative financing, maybe small multifamily or large multi. So I was trying to do like too many things at once. But the minute I focused and I honed on the multifamily, that's where I started getting some traction, and then starting working with coaches and stuff in that realm. That really just got me to the next level.
Yeah, I think that's key. What you said there is just getting started, right? And you just being curious, asking questions, and one thing led to another, and next thing you know, it's like you're investing in real estate, you're investing in multifamily and things like that. um, I think that's important for the listeners and our audience that are listening right now, is just start, do something and stop thinking about it and just do something about it.
No, totally, man. It's all, and we preach this all the time. And ADPI is learn, network, add value, and take action. That's really what it's all about. Is you have to learn. You have to be able to understand some basic concepts. It's nothing complicated. It's just basic concepts about how do you get started investing? How do you find deals? How do you work with real estate agents? How do you find partners? How do you analyze deals? Just the basic stuff that anybody can learn. So you learn. As you're learning, you network with other people, that are also doing it. And if you're in the military, network with other military members, because we're programmed differently, right, than the average person.
Right.
And while you're learning and while you're networking, continue to take action. If you see a good idea, this is what I should do, this might help me get me to the next level, go do it. Take action. Don't think about it. Well, and this might not work. This might, cool. Just go out there and go for it. And if it works, great. If not, cool, even better, because then you just learned a lesson and you move forward and continue on. But I think too many people are afraid of failure. Too many people are fearful of the unknown, right? Because of who we're surrounded by, and we're surrounded by scarcity mindsets, and we're surrounded by, a lack of financial education, right? Because there is no financial education in our society. So there's all these factors that you're working against. You're like climbing uphill, trying to dig through and figure all this out. But it's all about learn, network, learn how you could add value to other people and add value to a deal, and then to continue to take action. And that's what ADPI provides, all that, a ton of free resources, real education, a community, and action steps, and like literally blueprints to how you go crush it. So that's why we created it, man. We're trying to prevent people from going out there and spending 20, 30, 40, 50K on real estate guru education and mentorship. And I was one of those people that did it, right? I paid 30 grand for real estate education and coaching and mentorship. And back when Rich Dad Poor Dad had these seminars, and it obviously made me who I am today, and it helped me. But we're trying to prevent our military brothers and sisters from having to come out of pocket that much, just to get a real estate education. So
That's awesome, man, and we appreciate you guys for the community and what you guys have been able to teach everybody. And it's great seeing other people succeed because, you know, it's just again going back to that mindset. It's just you'll get there one day.
yeah,
So
absolutely, man.
all right, so for our audience that are just listening right now, talking to Tim Kelly of ADPI. So Tim, yeah, just tell us a little bit about ADPI, active duty passive income. How did that all start, and you know how that came come about?
Yeah, so Markion Sitch, still active duty Marine, stationed in New Orleans. He was a visionary behind all this in 2017. Him and Mike Foster, who
Mhm.
is the podcast host, they were at the Naval Academy together, and they kind of both had a curiosity of just personal finance, and then they discovered real estate, and then they ended up, just creating a Facebook group, right, for a couple people, and they're like, I just want to create this because we're passionate about it, we're learning it, we're doing a little bit of it now. I want to help other people learn what we know, and I want to learn more myself. So they just created this community, and then Mike started the podcast, and then they created a course, and then Eric Upchurch, what a co-founder, right, kind of joined their team. They ended up going to a Rod Cleef event, I think, together, and then they found Adam Labar, who was focusing on large multifamily. They ended up going to another conference together, and then once that was established in 2017, it was like kind of them four. Like just a month or two later, I appeared on the Bigger Pockets podcast as a guest, and I shared my story, and Eric Upchurch was listening to it,
Mm.
and he heard me, and then I just gave out my cell phone number on the Bigger Pockets podcast, and he immediately called me, and that's when the core five, kind of the five of us, like just all were going towards the same mission. We all had different levels of experience in real estate and different asset classes. Then we ended up writing the military house hacking book together. Now a best-selling book that's free on our website. And then, then the VA loan mastery course was created, a free course. And now we're completely revamping that initial course that they created, the Military Real Estate Investment Academy. Now there's 15,000 people in our Facebook group. Now we have actual courses and masterminds where there's just some high level people that are helping each other do deals and partner on deals and answer each other's questions. And now we have tax advisors and legal advisors. And now we have a mortgage
Mortgage
company
lender,
and
yeah.
insurance brokerage and a whole network of agents. So it's just like we're a one-stop shop for the military real estate investor, to where we could just kind of take them through the process, help learn, to teach them how to do it. We have this platform where they can network, and we have all these other financial services that'll help them just build wealth and build and scale their portfolio. And we're just super excited on what we have planned, man. We have so many cool things planned. And I wish I could share with you like the ideas that we have, but I don't want to put anything out yet,
Yeah.
because it's not implemented, and we're not going to, we're not full force going, after it yet. But it's just, we're all just super passionate, man. And then we ended up having a couple people join our ownership team, a couple spouses, Victoria Griggs and Jill Campbell, amazing women, who are really helped get us to the next level. It was just like us five guys trying to figure things out, and it was just like a circus, right? Like we were just doing what we thought we should do, and we were just like didn't have any organization. And then these females were like, that had a lot of experience in community and financial services, they came in, they're like, all right, guys, this is what we need to do. Like they kind of helped organize everything. And now we brought on a financial services director who helped us open the mortgage company and the insurance brokerage. And it's just a really, really special group of people, and active duty and veteran and spouses who are just helping inspire and educate other military members on how to achieve their financial freedom goals, man. And so that's kind of a little backstory.
That's awesome, man. So, I mean, just starting from two people coming together and just talking about what they're passionate about, like what we talked about earlier
Yeah.
in real estate. And then now it's what is it like over 10,000, the community on Facebook?
Yeah, I think there's like 13,000 something and like
13,000.
2,000 pending. And it's crazy because obviously you have to request to get into a group and answer a couple questions. And obviously people who don't answer the questions, we don't let them in because it's a high value community, whereas we don't allow soliciting.
Mm,
If agents and lenders see this whole entire network and community of investors, they're going to try to poach leads from it. So we don't allow soliciting. We don't allow people to promote their businesses on and stuff like that, because a lot of people will see this as like a gold mine to go try to just get leads, right?
right.
So all we want to do is have people in there just sharing value and just sharing education and a platform to network and learn from other people, partner with other people, do deals with each other. And so there's so many pending requests that don't answer the questions, and they don't acknowledge, like, I am not going to solicit. So we just don't let them
Right.
in. Either A, they don't even realize that they're trying to come into the community, or maybe their friend, like, suggested, hey, come into this
Right.
community. They don't even realize it, or they're just not willing to, abide by our policies on our page. So, yeah, it's just slowly growing. And just a few months back, it was like less than 10,000. And now, it's just rapidly growing, and it's just super high value community, man.
It's awesome, man. So, Tim, going back to your when you first started real estate investing, can you share with our audience like what's been, I guess, the most trying times, the most worst experience you've had, and then also talk about the most rewarding experience throughout
Yeah.
your real estate investing?
I would say, the most trying is always the first deal, right?
Mm,
It's always just trying to figure out the very first deal. And this is where what stops a lot of people, because there's a lot of moving parts, Like I said, you got to learn a lot. So you just speak the terminology, and people could actually start taking you seriously. And then you got to network with the right people. You got to find an agent, maybe some partners, and then maybe some investors, depending on the size of the deal that you want. You got to understand how to analyze the deal, how to analyze the market, what the income and expenses are, and different, understanding the terms of the loan and your cost of capital. Like, there's a lot of moving parts. And at the same time, you're like trying to figure it all out and then close your first deal. It's a lot. And so it stops a lot of people. And that really, prevents a lot of people from even getting one deal done. Obviously, if they can't get one deal done, they're not going to do another and another and another. Um, so that was probably just getting my first deal done, which was a fourplex using a 203K FHA loan. But then 6 months later, I bought a 42 unit apartment complex with some friends. We raised capital, syndicated it, and the fast forward, the most rewarding was either A, being asked to join an active duty passive income, because it's hard enough to find other investors that are like-minded and like-hearted, and it's even harder to find other military
in our
real
community,
estate
yeah.
investors that are like-minded and like-hearted. And that's the community that we're creating. Either that, but that's that first apartment community that we bought about 3 years ago. We actually are about to close on it next month and sell it. And it's just incredible return on investment. And it was my first big commercial multifamily deal. And so, just super excited about that, man. And it's just going to be a really, really fun and fun day. It's going to be a great payday. And I'll be able to kind of convert that and exchange that and into a tax, save taxes, do a 1031 exchange, and defer my taxes, just take all that 6-figure profit and put it into another larger deal and just compound my return. So I'm super excited about that, man. There's a lot of rewards. Even the failures, those are stepping stones. And biggest piece of advice, not biggest, but a huge piece of advice that one of my mentors told me, you shouldn't even have failure in your vocabulary, because as you're doing this, you're either going to win or you're going to learn, right? There's no failure. Just remove failure from your vocabulary. And because too many people see failure as, well, I'm not going to be able to do this, or I'm a failure, or I keep failing. Well, you're not failing. Just you either win or you learn. Those lessons learned are actually helping you grow. Those are stepping stones to success. It's just part of the process.
I love that, man. Another thing I kind of lean to is like you don't you only fail if you don't learn, right? Um,
Yeah,
Going back
absolutely.
into your most trying experience, buying your first property or whatnot. So, what's one tip you can give our audience? Like, for let's say somebody, he's active duty, listening to this, still trying to find his first deal. What's the first next actionable step you want to give that person?
Keep educating yourself. and keep networking and learn how to add value and just go take action. And that's really it. And if you haven't tapped into the active duty passive income network yet, just go to activedutypassiveincome.com. You'll be able to download our free book called Military House Hack, and it's a best-selling book. You could order it on Amazon if you want for $7-8 and get the actual hard copy. Which we're creating a 2.0 at this point. We're just implementing a lot more value in there and kind of up some updates. Especially with the VA loan. And so, take advantage of all the resources, right? The free military house hacking book, the free VA loan mastery course is completely free.
Mm.
I wrote 2 other books, The Blueprint to Financial Success. That is free. It comes with a workbook, like the foundational principles of personal finance that we should all have learned in school, but it doesn't exist in our society. So leverage that. Then there's also a free all-in-one credit guide that we've created to help you understand and wrap your head around credit, help you improve your credit, repair it, maintain it. Another free guide. So all these free resources are podcasts where we've interviewed some pretty high level people in our industry. The Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, his a couple of his advisors, his tax advisor, Tom Wheelwright, his legal advisor, Garrett Sutton, Grant Cardone, Elena Cardone, Jocko Willink. Like, we've interviewed all these people, and we've also interviewed some junior officers, junior enlisted, and people who are active duty going through our programs and just crushing it for inspiration. So again, free podcast, all the free resources, dive into our Facebook group, free Facebook group, high value. And then obviously for the people who are ready and who are committed, we have the actual courses, the academies, a single family residential real estate academy and mastermind. You're an Adam, you're an Operation
Right.
Adam, action takers only mastermind. And then we also have, if you want to do large multifamily, that's mostly what I focus my time on, is the military multifamily academy and mastermind. So all the free resources are out there, man. You could go to YouTube University, you could, go to Bigger Pockets and all kinds of free resources, but you have to network with other people while you're learning and take action, implement action steps every single day. And that is how you're going to gain the most amount of momentum and traction.
Yeah, I mean, this guys, if you haven't checked out ADPI, there's like what Tim said, there's tons of information that will help you just start and, take action. Whether that be taking or joining the Atom Mastermind or the multifamily real estate academy and whatnot. But yeah, the first thing you gotta do is just learn, network, and add value to the group, and it'll come back tenfolds. Um, so Tim, so you mentioned earlier during your transition, can you tell us a little bit about the skills bridge and how that kind of helped you out with your last 6 months of active duty?
Yeah. So I'm actually currently on the SkillBridge program. The DoD SkillBridge program is a program for all branches. It actually came out in 2011. Not a whole lot of people know about it
Right.
because they don't do a whole lot of promoting. It's almost like it's too good to be true, right? And most people hear about it when they're going to the TAPS class or their transition classes when they're leaving already within like a few months. So the SkillBridge program is essentially designed and in place to help people that you can literally go TAD or temporarily assigned to a company, a corporation, a business for up to 6 months leading up to your separation, your retirement, whatever. Whereas you likely will continue working with them or maybe get a job post your military service. And it's regulated and not regulated, but it's approved at the command level. So your local commanding officer is going to be the overall approver and give you the blessing. And so for me, it was really special because I submitted it, at like I was right at my, around my 6-month mark. I submitted it up and, I push it up and now I'm getting ready to separate. And I've been able to take advantage of the SkillBridge program for over 5 months, so for the last 5 months, I've basically just been on paid leave during this transaction or during my transition, just heads down in my businesses and kind of just going after it because this is all I'm going to be doing obviously after I get out of the military is full-time real estate investing and full-time building ADPI and helping others achieve financial freedom.
Yeah, skills bridge. Not a lot of Navy people know about it. I know
Yeah.
being with the Marines, that's something that they preach on. But yeah,
Oh, nice.
being in Navy side, not you don't really hear anything
Yeah.
about that. It's just one of those things that you got to ask questions. You got to be curious and ask the right questions and how you can uh, prepare yourself for that
Yeah.
transition. So that's awesome, man. Um, so let's go back, Tim. So what's for those that are listening right now, they want to get into real estate. I know you mentioned ADPI, but just give us like an actionable step that our viewers can take right now.
Yeah. Um, yeah, ultimately, it depends on if you just have no knowledge, no experience, you haven't read anything or invested in yourself or education yet. Um, there's got to be a little bit of a mindset shift first, right? To understand, why it would be worth your time to even get into the real estate investing game, right? Because it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It is a vehicle that could take you to financial freedom. It is not the only vehicle that could take you to financial freedom. If you know you want financial freedom, and your why is deep enough and meaningful enough, like it's not like you just want to get rich, it's because you want to have time freedom, because you want to spend your time to do, spend your time something that is way more meaningful to you, whether it's with family, so you could, invest your time in philanthropic activities and give more, just live a better, more epic life, more abundant life. If you know you want to achieve financial freedom, real estate is a vehicle that could take you there. So if you have no knowledge, you got to have a mindset shift first. And I highly recommend you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad if you have not, by Robert Kiyosaki. Right, that it was a
Mm-hmm.
game changer for me. That one book was the catalyst to probably, put me on the track to get me to where I am today, exiting the Navy at 15 years. And just I read a lot of the books in that Rich Dad Poor Dad series, the Rich Dad Advisors books. His second book, Robert Kiyosaki's second book, is the Cash Flow Quadrant.
Quadrant.
Again, another amazing book, another mindset book. And then the third one that I read is The Loopholes of Real Estate by Garrett Sutton, which is Robert Kiyosaki's legal advisor. And then Tax Free Wealth is, again, these are all just books you can get for freaking $5-10 on Amazon. Tax Free Wealth is written by Tom Wheelwright, which is Robert Kiyosaki's tax advisor. And we've actually interviewed all these people on our podcast. And then the book that really helped me kind of focus straight on multifamily was The ABCs of Real Estate Investing by Ken McElroy, which is Robert Kiyosaki's real estate advisor. And then, so I mean, start there. If you're reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and you get through it, and then you start reading Cash Flow Quadrant, and you're not getting these light bulbs that are going off, and nothing is really intriguing you or interest you, there's a good chance that it might not be for you. There's a chance business and investing and generating monthly cash flow and leveraging other people's money to buy assets that pay you every month might not be for you. It might be starting another business, or maybe learning how to trade stocks or something like that. But that's where I would start. If you have no recollection, but again, listen to our podcast, read all of our free resources that we have right on our website that you can just download right to your smart device. And it's all about diving in. And then once you start learning, you're going to get more confidence, and you can then start networking with people and have conversations, like meaningful intellectual conversations with people about investing and about how to analyze markets and how to analyze deals and all, the profit centers of real estate investing. When you buy and hold real estate, there are 5 or 6 different profit centers that pay you. When you compare it to like buying and holding a stock, you might get a dividend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have no control of what happens to that. It's other people that are the
Yeah.
business owners. So yeah, that education is going to just give you confidence to start networking, because that's really the next step, is surrounding yourself with other people who are doing it, so you can get inspiration, more ideas, find partners, find deals, and then you're just going to continue to get momentum along the way. So that's kind of where I would go, and I kind of stumbled through all that, and that'd probably be the most streamlined way that I could recommend for you.
Yeah, so I want to mention again the books that you said: Loopholes of Real Estate, Tax Free Wealth, and the ABCs of real estate, and of course, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Make sure if you haven't read
Yep.
that, I mean, start off with that.
Yep. And the cash flow quadrant.
Cash flow quadrant. Yeah. Um, So Tim, I want to go back into the mindset and then mindset shift, because I know in your latest video I was watching it. You mentioned E to E. Can you tell us? Can you tell our audience about that?
Oh man, it's just like a rule of thumb that the most successful people use to just be highly productive. Um, the E to E ratio is the education to entertainment ratio,
Hmm.
E to E, and that's 80 to 20. So a lot of us, let's just say for instance, we have a 9 to 5 job, right? We're going to be tied up Monday through Friday from, let's say, 9 to 5. Maybe
Hmm.
some people it's 6 to 2, maybe 7 to 3, whatever it is, that block of time during the day. You might not have a whole lot of free time. If you do, obviously you want to leverage your free time during breaks, during half days, during lunch, whatever. But before the 9 to 5 and after the 9 to 5 is your time, is your free time. Most likely, obviously, in the military, 24/7. We're active duty. We're serving 24/7, but you're not technically on duty, right? So before the 9 to 5, after the 9 to 5, you have a choice. How are you going to use your time? Well, the most successful people, 80% of that time before the 9 to 5 and after the 9 to 5 is professional development, self development, growth, education in some way. They're growing as a person. They're getting better. They're becoming, they're improving their professional development, their personal financial development, whether it's meditating, working out, reading the Bible, just praying, like work on you, right? 80% of the time you're growing, you're personally investing in you, right? But 20% of that, all that free time overall over a day or a week or a month or the year should be entertainment, the education to entertainment ratio. You have to carve out time for entertainment, right? The things that you love doing, whether it's, going on a date with your spouse or Netflix and chilling and doing what you want to do, maybe reading for pleasure or going to see live music. That's what I do. My 20% entertainment, most of it is music because I'm actually in a band. I'm a drummer in a band. We had band practice last night. We have a show next
Awesome.
weekend. So, and I love music is one of my whys, man. I want to go play music and listen to music around the world. And so my entertainment, a lot of it is kind of targeted at music in some way, music and drumming and seeing live music. So the 9 to 5, if you have free time, right? Try not to use that 9 to 5 as too much personal and professional development because that's the office hours. That's when you need to be connecting with other people in your industry. Who could I be calling right now? Who could I be connecting with? Who could I be following up with during the 9 to 5 office hour time, right? Because it's all about people. Like regardless of what business you're in, it's all about who you know and who knows you. You have to connect with other people during that 9 to 5. So before the 9 to 5 and after the 9 to 5, the E to E, education, entertainment, 80/20 Pareto principle applies. And that's kind of what it is. And that's the rule of thumb that I've been using for a few years now.
That's awesome, man. And I hope the our audience members take note of that, uh, the E to E ratio. And then another thing I want to add on there too is something I've kind of learned is, you talk about networking and then what you can do in between your personal and professional growth. I mean, it's just as simple as like reaching out to somebody on your friends list on Facebook or whatever social media, and that that's in that industry that you want to get into. Uh, it's simple message, just hey, how's it going? And you start talking, and one thing leads to another. I think that's a great first step that you can take. It's not, if you have somebody in your friends list that are the industry that you want to get into, is just reach out.
Dude, I mean, it's all about people. That's why the more education you have, and I'm talking about not traditional education, because traditional education is going to keep you employed, right?
Right.
But your own personal education, investing in you, that is going to get you the confidence to reach out to, right, the friends and potential partners. But I'm talking about the professionals in the real estate industry, like the agents and the brokers and the property managers, and the people that are actually working full-time in this business, that understand markets, that understand deals, that already have their own big networks. And if you could build rapport with one of the best, if not the best property manager in whatever market you're trying to invest in, that right there, you just tapped into their entire network, right?
Mm.
Or if you connect with the best agents or the best brokers, if you're in order to find good deals, to find those good off market deals, if you tap into them and you build rapport with them, you're going to, again, tap into their entire network. So find the best people that you possibly can in your industry, and don't be afraid to reach out and say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do, and this is what I'm looking for. Tell me a little bit about you. And if you show a genuine curiosity about them, you're actually interested in what they do, how they got started, what their hobbies are, what their goals are, they're going to be very, very much more likely to say, well, tell me about you. And that's how you really connect at a deep enough level to have that bond to where they're going to start taking you seriously. They're going to start asking you, well, what do you want? What goal, what kind of deals are you looking for? What challenges are you having? And so you can't be afraid to do that. But for a lot of people, they need education and confidence first. Depending on how you're wired, some people are left brain and right brain. I'm definitely more right brain, more outgoing, more freaking, I'd rather ready, fire, aim
Mm.
instead of ready, aim, maybe fire, like left brain, analytical, data driven.
Yeah.
You need a combination of those two to make a perfect partnership, right? So hopefully that answers your question, man.
Yeah. For those of you guys just listening in, talking to Tim Kelly of ADPI, VP of Education. So, Tim, before we end this first segment here, what's one thing you want our audience to take away from this episode?
Yeah. If you know that you want to achieve financial freedom for your own reasons, and you have a strong why, and it's emotional, like I want to provide the best possible life for my family, or I want to buy my mom a mansion, or I want to give my dad this, or I want to pay back, I want to give $1 million to this nonprofit, like whatever it is deep rooted. And you have a why, and you want to achieve financial freedom, and you're looking in real estate as a possible, path to get there, you're going to be the only one that's going to stop you from achieving that. Nobody else. Bottom line, upfront, you're going to be the only one that's going to stop you, right? There's a lot of negativity that we're around. You got to
Mm.
find those people that you are connecting with, like in the ADPI community, who are military minded, like-hearted, who want to go after financial freedom using real estate, and who are looking for others to network with, right? So again, it's a learning process. Failure is part of the process, but remove that term from your vocabulary, because you learn, right? You either win or you learn. So, I could continue. There's a lot of nuggets, but I've also learned that the more I read and become a better and better investor, I've actually just become a better person and a
Right.
better human, because in order to become a really good investor, you have to grow as a person. Like
Right.
there's no way in heck I would have been able to accumulate over 1,000 doors as an enlisted guy if I didn't grow, if I didn't educate myself and learn and network with other people and grow as a human. But because I grew as a person, I'm adding more value in other facets of my life. I'm improving, my relationships. I'm improving my ability to give more. I'm improving my mindset and my energy levels and my cognitive function for other areas and other facets of life. So continue growing as a person. Never stop being a student. Be a forever student, and you're going to be the only one that will stop you from achieving whatever you want in this life.
That's awesome, man. And guys, and just going back to your point, Tim, win or you learn.
Yeah.
And you're, like you said, you're in complete control. Um, so, all right. So coming up to our last segment here, Tim. So I call this segment the Fast Five. This is where I ask 5 questions that lets us know more about our guests here. So, first question is, what's one hobby you enjoy?
I mentioned it before, just music and drumming, man. I've been drumming all my life, and I can't live without music. And it's just music and drumming just puts me in that euphoric level. And so that's probably my most passionate hobby for sure.
What's your band name?
Hollard. It's actually made up of two other chiefs, prior chiefs, a senior chief that just retired last year, and then another one who was a prior chief, and then myself, I'm still active duty, and then the other one, he's not a chief, but he's just a really good friend of ours, and he's one of our lead guitarists. And yeah, we play all around the Pensacola area, Orange Beach, Gulf Shores. We've played in St. Augustine. We've been asked to play in New Orleans, Panama City Beach. So we're kind of all over this little southeast area. And even during COVID, like we've had to cancel a bunch of shows, but luckily we're playing downtown Mobile next weekend, and we're playing back in Pensacola for Halloween and for Veterans Day. We're playing actually with the USO. We're partnering with the USO for
Nice.
Veterans Day or and Thanksgiving. So super excited about that, man. I freaking love doing that. Love these dudes, and we actually donate all of our tips to the USO. And last year alone, I think we've made them like $5,000.
Wow.
From all of our tips, and that's why they have a USO show. Like they have a USO tour every single year, and they're inviting us to like open up for these big bands that they have play at their tour. So we're super excited about that stuff, man.
It's awesome. You said Hollard?
Hollard, yeah,
Hollard.
HOLLARD, Hollard Band on Instagram, and check out our Facebook group, Facebook page, if for our shows and stuff if you're in the area.
That's awesome. Make sure you guys check him out if you're in the Pensacola area. All right, Tim, second question. If you had to choose one person to hang out with for one day, who would it be and why?
Man, I mean that was tough. I thought a lot about this, but I would have to say my grandfather, man. I mean, he passed away a couple years ago. Definitely my hero. He was like the father figure in my life. I actually just recently got a tattoo, in remembrance of him. And I just feel like, I did spend a lot of time with him. I learned so much from him, just how to be an amazing father, how to be an amazing grandfather, and just guy and philanthropist and all these great things. And I just wish I could have one more conversation with him and kind of really dive deep into his lessons learned and stuff like that. So it'd probably have to be my grandpa Frank.
Awesome, man. So
Yeah.
Move into next question. I know we talked about this earlier, but what's one book you want to recommend our audience to read?
Yeah.
Starting off.
I mean, other like I'm gonna just give you all those other books that I read, and I'm gonna focus on just maybe 2 or 3 mindset books right now. Like the number one that should be required reading for anybody listening to this, for anybody that joins the military. I'm telling you, for anybody in general. I think all professionals should be reading or should have read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, right, by Dale Carnegie. Just a freaking playbook of how to be successful. It really is just some basic concepts that we all know, but we don't actually act on or execute. So How to Win Friends and Influence People. Definitely read, David Goggins. He's a retired Navy SEAL chief. He wrote the book Can't Hurt Me. Just an amazing mindset book. How to, just kind of take control, take ownership, and take accountability of yourself. Right now, I would highly recommend the Audible because he gets interviewed in between each chapter, and it's just like a little podcast segment in between each chapter. It's an amazing book. And man, there's so many other ones. I'll just leave it at those 2 right now.
I saw this.
Dude, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, that's the next one I was gonna say. Actually, that's funny. That's hands down one of the best, easiest reads I've read in the past couple of years, man, for sure. The Go Giver.
Yeah, it's a great read. All right, so next question, Tim. What's your favorite quote and why?
Man, there's a lot. I think when I mentioned to you, you either run the day or the day runs you, right? By Jim Rohn. I talk about that a lot because you wake up and you decide how the day is going to go. And if you're the type of person that is going to be reactionary, and you're going to just react to things instead of actually controlling it, instead of being proactive, instead of reactive, then you're going to be able to succeed if you're more proactive. You control your day. But I have to mention one more. It's actually by Dr. Seuss, and it's be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Probably one of my favorite all-time quotes, man, by the Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, I love that one. All right, so last question, Tim. Where do you see yourself in a year, 5 years, or even 10 years from now?
Yeah. Just watching ADPI blossom, most likely from, maybe an advisory board position, and ultimately doing everything in my power to watch other military members achieve financial freedom. And just, it's a life changing thing. It's proven that most people who achieve financial freedom just make this world a better place in some way, because they're not stressed out from a 9 to 5 job, and they're not going to work, working too many hours, trying to, stab each other in the back and climb a corporate ladder. And then when they get home, they're too tired to spend quality times with their kids. They're too tired to work on themselves. They're too tired to take care of their health.
Mm.
You're just a better, when you have freedom of time, you become a better person because you have more time to do better things, and not only work on yourself, but the more you work on yourself, the more you're going to be able to deliver and value to other people. Right. And it's all about what you give, and value is what you're going to receive in abundance. Bottom line. I mean, the Go Giver talks all about that. What you give in value is what you will receive in payment. And so, just probably watching, just obviously continuing to invest in more, thousands more doors, all over the best markets in the U.S., apartment communities, mobile home communities, storage facilities, residential assisted living, just building a very diverse portfolio of all these different income producing assets that are all in housing and affordable housing. And just watching ADPI grow and be that pretty much an advanced version of USAA. Like USAA is, banking and insurance and financial services and stuff like that for people who don't really have a financial education, right? But we're creating the USAA for military. We're actually educating them first, and then we're providing all these financial services so they can excel and actually build tremendous and generational wealth.
It's awesome, Tim. And I appreciate you again for taking the time to be here and be part of the show. And I know that you've added great value to the audience here. And I just hope somebody takes action from this and propels them to success, whether they be in the military or not. So again, thanks, Tim. Just one more thing: how can our audience stay in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously I spend a lot of time, not specifically in the large ADPI community Facebook group, but we have a private Facebook group, in the ADPI community, either the military, multifamily academy mastermind. We have our own private Facebook group. So I spend a lot of time in Facebook there, but obviously I'm on Facebook. I spend probably more time on LinkedIn than I do on Facebook. It's, if you're not on LinkedIn, you're missing a lot of
Mm.
opportunity, and people are sleeping on that platform. And I'm at the Timothy Kelly on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm usually posting a lot of value and a lot of content all the time on Instagram at the Timothy Kelly. And then, I'm obviously thetimothykelly.com is my personal website. You can find all the different shenanigans that I'm involved in. And if you're listening to this and you kind of you're not really sure where to go, even after listening to all this, just shoot me a text, man. We'll hop on a quick call and I'll guide you, in a direction based on my experience and based on what I've learned. And you could reach me at area code 847-910-9161. Let me know you heard me on this podcast, man. I'll give you a free coaching call.
It's awesome, man. Tim, thanks again for taking the time and again adding value to the community. Looking forward to your success and ADPI's future ventures. I appreciate it, man.
Dude, yeah, I wish we could have dove more into all the other cool things you're doing, bro. And, in personal training and stuff. My wife, also does that. She's a cycle instructor and has her
Awesome.
personal training cert and group fitness cert. And so I'm a big fan of that. Training, is a huge part of our life. And
Yeah.
that's, I think has been a lot of what helped me get to this point and keep high energy level and stay healthy, is what you consume and your level of activity. So I wish we could have talked more about that, man, but maybe next time we'll dive into more of that and the importance and how your health is wealth, so
Yeah, most definitely.
keep that in mind, bro. I appreciate you having me on, dude. This is freaking awesome. And such an honor having me on your show.
All right, brother. We'll talk soon. Take care, man.
Later, dude.